Good evening. I'm Vaikom Raslakshmi, a research intern at the Maritime Research Center and a fourth-year student at SSLA studying international relations as a major and minoring in anthropology and bio. Today, I'll be presenting on my research project that uh, specifically looks at the intersection of geopolitics, conflict, and sustainability, uh, water insurgency, and geopolitics in Northeast India. This presentation will explore how water is both a vital resource and a potential priority in the region, and how innovative frameworks like the UDA, underwater domain awareness, can offer solutions to long-standing and emerging challenges. These are the contents that we'll be discussing over the presentation. First, we'll look into how the Northeast India is constituted and what the physiographic landscape and geostrategic location refers to, and how the political development of the area began, and essentially how water as a critical strategic asset becomes is an integral part of the livelihoods of the people. Um, and then look at the challenges to the water security faced by the people and how this can be integrated within the UDA framework by using an integrative approach, looking at both traditional knowledge and the modern technology. So we need to first understand how Northeast is constituted. It comprises of 8 states: Assam, Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Sikkim. Most people, when they hear of Northeast, they associate a homogeneous identity to the communities and also to the topography. However, it is important to keep in mind that it is not a homogeneous unit, and its diversity is parallel to how we describe India as a diverse country. The region is home to more than 200 ethnic groups who have different cultural practices, and a fundamental characteristics also lies in the cultural and familial ties that often cross national boundaries. As Korean has described, that the border is both an invisible and integral aspect of their social existence. It has diverse sets of fundamentally, it has diverse sets of physiographic features, which include hilly terrains, riverine systems, plateau, and plains. Um, and it is connected to the Indian mainland through a very narrow stretch, which is only of 22 kilometers, called the Siliguri Corridor, and shares over 5,000 kilometers of porous borders with 5 countries. The hostile Additionally, the hostile political development where administrative decisions such as the 1956 state reorganization, where whimsical boundary fixing occurred, led to grievances and perceived subjugation of the local identities. And additionally, the Chinese infrastructure buildup in nearby Chumbi Valley poses a security risk for India. These are very few instances that I have described. However, the political identities which exist in this region is immensely complicated with different demands and requirements. This deeply embedded regional complexity leads to emergence for insurgency and conflicts, and thus leading to thus demanding a multidimensional governance. Um, Looking at this complex political scape, water plays an important role in Northeast India as both as a source of life and as a geopolitical fault line. This is often an overlooked aspect when it comes to addressing the demands of the communities, because whenever we talk of Northeast, we have always focused on the insurgency part, but never at the root causes or the demands that the people have. So through this research, I'm presenting a case that water is intricately connected to the lives of the people and the practices, as this pictures depict. It's integral to their and cultural practices. Their basis of livelihood includes agriculture, pisciculture, trade, transport, which are all derived from these water sources. And thus, culturally, water has been an important part of their lives. Thus, while addressing the issues of Northeast, water becomes an integral issue. The study focuses mainly on the study I'm conducting mainly focuses on two riverine systems, the Brahmaputra and the Barak River system. Brahmaputra is one of the largest river and thus carries the heaviest sediment load. Um, while Barak originates in Manipur, it flows through Mizoram, Assam, and then joins Brahmaputra and flows down in the Bangladesh Bay of Bengal. Basically is a main challenge, yeah, with upstream where China has initiated dam building and along the river, and which is a major for water control flow, which might disrupt the livelihood of the people, and also a major concern for the national security. On top of this, pollution from untreated industrial and mining waste, climate change impacts, which have increase the frequency of flash floods and erosion drastically, leading to ecological recent years have also the drastic increase in flash floods for which can be seen in news reports where Manipur and Assam have faced dangerous levels of damages. Further, the study surgeons can often exploit this vulnerability, which can be seen in a study where the floods in the factor in the intensification of the Mizo-National conflict. The nexus between narcotics and insurgency, another concern which can be seen with these sports, where there has been a major surge in drugs within this riverine territory. So traditional measures have fail to capture the full scope of this risks, especially those hidden in the water domain. This is where UDA framework becomes relevant, and it offers a comprehensive approach to water governance and security by integrating technology, local knowledge, and cross-sector coordination. However, before we dive into UDA framework, I think it's important to also acknowledge the rich traditional ecological knowledge that already exists in the region. Various case studies that I have looked into includes the Boro People's Dong system, which is a main-made community channel having an average breadth of 7 to 15 kilometers to channel water from available sources. The Meitei community's pond dikes for cultivating colocasia to prevent soil erosion and also promote ecological balance, and also the pond management system where in practice in Assam, where coconut trees are planted to prevent soil erosion. With this, I'm presenting a case that any modern intervention must always collaborate with local wisdom and the local traditional knowledge and not replace it. This is where UDA comes in, and with its integrative framework, which unlike conventional models that treat water mainly as a security issue, UDA is a holistic framework and encompasses four domains: strategic security, blue economy, sustainability and climate change, and digital transformation. And here's how I'm proposing that UDA can address the core challenges in Northeast India. So to enhance safe growth, and as I've described before, the Brahmaputra and Barak rivers are both transboundary and ecologically sensitive. With increasing instances of flash floods, erosion, and landslides, UDA's integration of river information system for real-time river monitoring becomes vital. It enables real-time data tracking of depth, flow, velocity, sediment load, and water quality information, which is crucial information for early warning systems and disaster response. In a region like Assam or Manipur, where communities live closely alongside
आज
rivers,
क्रिकेट
predictive
ड्यूटी चल
modeling
रहा है
and simulation tools can help
प्रिंसिपल का
forecast
ड्यूटी
extreme
उसका
climate
है
events and allow authorities to prepare targeted
हाँ?
rehabilitation plans in
दोनों वाला
advance, reducing loss of life and livelihood. And to address the security concerns regarding the increasing illicit activities in the riverine terrains, UDA can provide underwater surveillance systems, including drones, acoustic sensors, and sonar technologies, which will allow 24/7 real-time monitoring of sensitive water corridors, which can deter illegal smuggling, unauthorized fishing, and insurgent movements as well. This strengthens border infrastructure and enhances protection of strategic assets and transportation routes that are otherwise vulnerable to sabotage. Um, to address addressing the sustainable growth also becomes an important aspect which will boost local economy and ecology. So acoustic remote sensing and sediment mapping, which comes under the UDA, can provide precise data on riverbed changes, aquatic health, and erosion trends, and thus provide data about aquatic ecosystem and its degradation, thus helping better understanding and preservation of the biodiversity which exists in these river systems, and evidently the livelihood of the people. This not only helps preserve endangered ecosystems, but supports more sustainable fisheries and soil management. Such evidence-based ecological intelligence contributes to blue economies, strengthening livelihoods without degrading the environment. Capacity ability building, which is also a very important component of the UDA framework, which emphasizes on bottom-up collaboration. So through capacity building initiatives, which will help promote community training, policy collaboration, and digital infrastructure, the framework can create spaces for direct and joint engagement between scientists, the scientific community, policymakers, and local communities. In Northeast India, this translates into digital empowerment, community training, and policy feedback mechanisms that reflect ground realities. Rather than imposing a one-size-fit-all approach. UDA enables context-sensitive interventions that consider the distinct socio-cultural, and ecological features of each state, tribe, and river basin, thus creating a feedback loop where traditional ecological knowledge can is not replaced but integrated into the high-tech governance body models. Thus, UDA model encompasses these aspects and the different domains, which negates addressing issues only through one lens. But however, as always, my research also had limitations where I uh, found considerable gaps in data addressing how water domain can be utilized by the insurgent groups as their smuggling routes, or can use these issues to retaliate against the state. There's very little initiative done by the government to incorporate local knowledge and people into addressing these issues. So future research should specifically investigate how issues related to water have been dealt both by the insurgent groups and the Indian state, and filling this critical knowledge gap is essential for developing evidence-based policies and fully understanding the complex dynamics at play. And moving forward, I'm proposing to conduct in-depth research on the aquatic ecosystem degradation and explore how UDA tools, when integrated with community knowledge, can help build climate and conflict resilience. I conclude by stating that the Northeast strategic importance is matched only by its fragility. Water lies at the heart of its identity, economy, and conflict. The underwater domain awareness offers us a rare opportunity to look beneath the surface, literally and strategically. By combining surveillance, sustainability, and indigenous knowledge, UDA can help shift water from a source of vulnerability to a pillar of stability. With that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you.